Just put the Bokkens to the side. We'll just start with some rolling movements. Just start with the neck. So just starting slowly and small. Just start to rotate through the back. It's going to do 5 rotations and just increase it each time. In this case, really use the eyes, so really kind of look. Increase the range of motion through the eyes. Just one more this side. And then go to the other side. Good. One more rotation. Good. Then just loosening the neck off. Nice and loose. See any kind of, oh. There we go. Okay. And then next into the shoulders. In this case, you're going to roll them starting back. Really, in this case, start by really rolling them up, roll them back, roll down, and then roll forward. So really get kind of a full range of motion. And really feel, in this case, you can move this kind of with the shoulders, but in this case, do this really with the shoulder blades and the chest. So really have the sense of the shoulder blades as one unit. You're really going to press them down, forward, up, back, and then down again. And then just roll through it. Really get a sense of the full range of motion in the shoulder. Very mobile joint. Back, forward, up, down. Just one more this side. Good, and then reverse it. So now you're gonna go down, back, rolling up, forward, and then back down. And just really try and see the shoulder blades as one unit in the body. Good, one more time. Oh, good, and then just loosening the shoulders off. Okay, good. So to the hips, just classic big circles. Try and make them as big as possible. And again, have the sense of side, forward, side, back. So really go through a kind of full range of motion with the hips. Rolling. So if you feel like you need to hold it at any point, you can just find those points, especially from the ukemi work, if there's anything that's where you've got a kind of tension or pain, just try and work your way into it. Good. And then just reverse direction. That's it. Good. Good. And then just nice and loose with the hip, just shaking them out. Okay, to the knees, so keeping the feet down. Circle with the feet, with the knees, sorry. So this exercise is really good for the knees, but also for the ankles. Really feel, in this case, if you can keep the feet as flat as possible, really try and go through a full range of motion in the ankle as well. And then the other way, the direction. Good. And then in this case, do the same, just opening them up and then roll rolling them back. So in this case, kind of press them back, so you got a full stretch back, and then roll them out, press them back in. So kind of splay, rolling them back, rolling them back, press them back, and then just do the opposite. So bring them forward and then separate them, rolling back, bring them back. In this case, really come off the heel in this case. So allow the heel of the foot to leave the ground. Okay, good. Just go to the feet. Just gonna raise up off the toes, raise up off the heels. Raise up, rolling the heel, raising up through the feet, through the toes. Good. And then just go to the blades of the feet. So you're going to go to the outside edge and then the inside edge one side. Outside edge, inside edge. Outside edge, inside edge. Outside edge, inside. Good. And then just one foot down, just really roll the heel. Have really a sense of fluidity in the joint. One way, really rolling through the whole joint, the toes, the arch of the foot, the heel, the ankle, and then just reverse the direction. Good. Just with the toes up, just very lightly pressing down into the ball. That's it. Good. Okay, the other side. So just rolling one way. And really roll through the contact. That's it. Good. And then the other way, the direction. That's it. Good. Good. Oh. And then just with the toes bent up, just into the ball of the foot. Yeah, very lightly. Good. Okay, just shaking the ankles out. Out. Good. Shaking the arms. Rolling them at the bottom. Shaking the whole body. Good. Okay, good. Take a Bokken. Some Bokken work. Okay, so we'll just start with the just shoulder width apart with the feet, and just really lightly rolling up to the back, bringing the sword down. So just to establish the arc in the cut, keep it nice and relaxed. Using the ground for the pressure, opening the back and the shoulders, curling through into the ground. Nice and relaxed. See, in this case, you can really get in contact with this back line that runs through the body. A little bit this yesterday. This kind of movement when you do this kind of move. There's really a feeling in the body that from the back of the heel all the way up through the back of the knee and then right into the spinal column and all the way this passes all the way through the back of the neck, over the top of the crown and into the brow. And in this case, what you're doing is really using this line, really establishing it, kind of not pulling it tight, but there's a sense of making it taut, this line here. So all the way through to here and all the way back down. And then the feeling is actually this line has a hinge and it's in the knee. So when it crosses this line, when it crosses the knee, there's actually a hinge in it. Now, the other point is the back of the head. So in order to take the tautness away, which is what I need to do to drop it, I can keep it. I can keep that line and move the arms. But in this case, this is when the body's splitting again. The other thing I can do is drop the head. This will also lose the tension in the line. But actually, what I want to do is use the back of the knee as a kind of hinge into the movement. So really feel that you can kind of open this line up, kind of pulling it tightly up, and then what you do is kind of hinge from the back of the knee, and keeping the line actually taut and length. Think about lengthening the line. So think about not so much pulling it, but lengthening it. Now you're going to keep that length all the way through the movement. It's just that you're going to hinge the back of the knee. So I really have a sense also, I can do movements from the front of the body and I can do movements from the back of the body. Now in this case, what I don't want to do is go into the front and the front line of the body and the front of the knee. What I want to do is make this movement come from the back of the knee. I really have a sense of the back of the knee. This is kind of one of the places, especially in the back of the body, where we're quite unconscious because we can't see it. Most of the time, you never look at the back of your knee, so you don't really know what's going on in that. So really have a sense from the back of the body, from the back of the knee, is going to kind of hinge and open. So just have a sense of this, in this case, really establishing this back line, and then really have a sense of opening it from the hinge of the back knee. The hinge in the back, that kind of line. That kind of line. It's almost all done, this movement's almost all of it is done from the back of the body. Just to kind of explore it, just get a sense of this line through the back. And then see what happens when you just hinge the back of the knee. You'll just open this line out to move.
Can you find another word for hinge?
Hinge, like a door, you know, like a door.
Yeah.
So you've got it. Oh my God, my hands don't work. You've got, you've got this.
Yeah.
And then what you do is like this. So like a hinge is like a hinge, something that bend, like bending, like bend the knee, bend the knee. So
okay. Yeah, bend.
Hinge is basically, yeah, in this case, the hinge
something when you bend.
Yeah, you bend it. I bend the knee.
Okay.
Hinge the knee. That's it. Yeah, good. That's it. Super. That's it. Great. Nice. That's it. Good. And again, just feel what happens. This is quite a common area. The problem areas like the back of the neck and the head. What tends to happen in a lot of the Saburi work is the head's kind of doing doing these kind of movements. Call it kind of bobbing. The head kind of bobs. Now, in this case, you can really feel the effect of this in this line when I come back down here. Now, if I'm extended through the body, I'll just feel that the whole spinal column can just release down into the ground. Now, if I go to this position and I crunch the head down, I feel this whole line again starts to go into tension. So it goes here, and then if I go to this, I feel this whole line starts to go and tense. This creates tension in the body. So what I want to do in this case is, with the head, just feel it's an extension of the whole spine this way. And if I can keep it extended through lengthening, then it just relaxes down. And the moment I crunch it, this way I increase tension into the line of movement. So just have a feeling now. Kind of purposely do this movement with the head, so you feel the effect of it this way. So just play a little bit with the head, and then see if you can kind of connect it into the whole system. Connect into the whole system. Yeah, that's good. Also play with it at the top. So the other comment is that when I'm raising, there's this kind of problem. So playing this at the top, that you're going to fully extend through the line, through the back line. Yeah, and then find the back, and then just feel what happens when I actually crunched the head forward. Creates all this excess tension in the body. Automatically goes into the shoulders, and then I create these kind of movements. I'm actually out of balance. And then feel what happens if I can release down the line, pull the top of the brow up, and then this automatically opens up, releases all the tension through the body. So just play a little bit with this line. Just feel the effect of the brow on the whole line of the back, and then just release it. And release it down. Just play a little bit with this. That's it. Yeah, great. Good. Good. Great. Okay, good. Just go now to placing. So the same. Really establish the back line through the body. And then what you're going to do is place the weapon down. So just place it. In this case, you're going to kind of activate, in this case, the front line of the body. And again, this one goes all the way up the toes, up the knees, and then it comes up here. This one finishes all the way into the base of the skull here on both sides. So in this case, you're going to really maintain the back sense of the back line through the body. And then what I want to do is just start to activate into the front of the body. So the front of the body is really, the front line of the body is really about balancing the back line. So in this case, really come into balance through this point. Don't use force, just place it. Just have the sense that the front is being balanced by the back. So finding the ground, bending the knees, and just placing the weapon down. Good.
Michael?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a little brain dead again this morning.
Go ahead.
So were we doing it separately before? What do you mean by activate the front?
What you doing? Oh, sorry. What you doing? Let's see. Okay, so when I'm doing this first movement, yeah, what I'm doing is all this movement is just coming from the back of the body. Okay, and the front's really doing nothing, or it's doing as minimum as possible, because the front line's really also about the hands starting to do something, and in this case the hands aren't really doing anything, so they're just kind of falling through. So in this case, what I'm doing is just prioritizing the back of the body to do the movement. Now in this case, because I'm going to place the weapon, what I need is the front to start to activate in the movement. That way.
Okay, when you activate the front, are you still active in the back, or did you separate them?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So you're gonna really keep this feeling in the back. The back motivates the movement.
Okay.
Back motivates, and then what I do is start to bring the front into the movement as well. So the front of the body starts to come in and balance it. But I need the back.
Okay.
I need really the back established very quick, because if I just front, this happens.
Okay.
Just have that happens. Like I come totally into the front, and then I'm out of balance in the back. So really, this movement, in terms of the back line's really going to be from this point.
So in practice, when you activate your front, does it mean you're beginning to catch the sword when it's falling?
Yeah. So in this case, the front's just going to come into use.
Okay.
Because now I'm doing something. In this case, just holding the weapon. I need the front line to be active in the body. So without it, without the front line being, if I do nothing now with the front, the body.
Okay. It falls. Okay.
Yeah, it's gonna
I see.
Kind of fall. So.
Thank you.
Good. Okay, good. So we're going to go now, really to look at the side, these kind of lateral lines. We're going to go back, just find, in this position, you're going to be in a kind of hammy. Yeah. This position, don't worry about the cut, just find this kind of position. Yeah, so again, go to here. What I want you to do in this case is bring the feet up together, and then just roll the sword down. Okay, bring the foot together, roll the side down. I want you to really have a sense of the side lateral line of the body, this line. And in a sense, you're going to kind of rotate it. This way, start to go into rotation work. So here, really allow the back line creates the movement. But I start to now activate into the side of the body, this way. This side of the body. And this, also this whole line in the body here, this comes up and zigzags across the rib cage, this way. This starts to now activate. So you can play with this way, this passes to here. So both lines are active in the movement, this way, and just with the sword, just roll through it, roll through it. Don't worry so much about this being a kind of straight showman, and just allow the movement to come through the body, But now you're starting to add the front with a slight now rotation, going into the lateral, going into a lateral line in the body. So just feel that line that runs through the body. Oh, my pants. Look. This line on the Adidas pants. This is the line runs all the way through. And it comes up. Yeah. This one actually finishes in the arms, but you just have a sense the arms are going to follow. Good. And in this case, also play with the amount that I rotate through it. So you can also rotate fully through it. This way. This is something we wouldn't do in the sword work, but in this case, just play a little bit with opening it up a lot. So really open this line up. This way. Yeah, that's it. There. Yeah, like that. Yeah. Good, Bernie. That's it. Okay, and if this kind of lateral line's not really active in this, what happens is this. Front does it and then it's out. So I'm too much in the front here, and then there's no real activity going on in the sides of the body, in the side of the body. So this tends to happen. This is where you get this movement coming like this. The body's actually starting to split away from itself. So what I need to do is really activate the side of the body. So it's really starting to hinge up here. So really playing out with a big movement. This way. You really have a sense. You're going to really come from the back. From the back, the front creates the movement, and then the side stabilizes. So the lateral line is really about stabilizing rotational movements. This way. Play with the feet. Keep the knees really flexible, hinging. This way. If you really want to kind of stretch this line out with the hand that's cutting the outside arm, release it and just let it go, kind of go through. And let the sword really slide through this way. And then swing it back. So your back arm is going to take the sword and just follow it through. Now this really activates the lateral line this way. It's a bit like a yoga pose when you do the warrior, this pose. So you're really going to open this lateral line up. Pass it through. Pass it through. That's it. That's it. So really open out that line. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Super. Good, 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 good. In the case when you do this one, use the front arm. So when you release this way, one of the tendencies in this case is to be pulled out from the back. So this front line, the front lateral line gets collapsed, gets pulled out. And what I need to do is tighten it as well. So use the front arm, the hand that releases the sword, keep this out so that you can balance the body out. Just to give you a sense of the body here. But really have a sense of reaching front and back this way. So use the arm to balance, and then once you've got a feel for it, release the front arm. And just see if you can find that feeling of balance through the body this way. Give it a try. Yeah, that's it. Good. Oh. There we go. That's it, that's it, that's it. Good. Ah, yeah, good. You can also do that. Good. Nice. Great. Yeah, 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 good. Nice. That's it. Good. Good. Okay, so now just go to cutting. What you can play with the first suburi cutting down. You can play with this movement that we just done. Just play between them. What I want you to do, actually just start with the first suburi. In this case, what I want you to do is really finish the cut. So really now finishing the cut. So what I want you to focus on, forget kind of the arms. You're gonna go what's kind of this. This is kind of the spiral line that runs through the body. So this one comes up one leg, it wraps around the hip. So it follows this line, wraps around the hip, and it goes all the way across the back into the shoulders, and then it wraps around here, and then loops back down and into the opposite leg. So this is a line. This is like a ribbon that runs all the way through the body this way. Goes up the leg, across the hip.
Frozen.
Oh.
You're freezing up in between.
Oh, it's okay.
Can you start again?
Yeah, you stop by wrapping your neck.
Oh yeah, wrapping. Okay, the line got cut. So this line runs. This is one line runs all the way from one foot, all the way up, and then what it does is it crosses the hip. So it crosses the hip, and then it goes into the back, all the way up into the shoulder, the back of the shoulder, and then it wraps around the body again. Comes all the way up, and then it wraps around into the opposite leg. So really see this like this is like a ribbon that runs all the way up, crosses, and then comes up. It's like a helix. So it's running up the body like this. This is kind of known as the spiral line. This is really this is kind of really a movement that crosses the body. So in terms of activating the body for something like a cut, this is the perfect line. So just have a sense of this line running all the way through the body. So just start with the first suburi. You're going to cut it down. Really have a sense of both lines are active. So this kind of line. Okay, so using all this work from the back, using the back, getting to the front, the lateral line opening up. And then what you want to do is really have this sense of spiraling into the body. Runs all the way through the body. One kind of track. This way. So just explore this line. Runs all the way up one leg, wrapping around the hips. Okay, maybe this is easier to feel it. So in this case, go back to a square posture, hands on the bokken this way, and you're gonna curl up the body this way, and then cutting down. And just play with basically you're gonna run from one foot all the way up the body. So it's releasing up the body this way, wrapping, crossing around the hip into the arm, and then back down. So feel this is gonna kind of wrap all the way around the body. Wrap up, wrap around the body this way. So in this case, just play with, really getting a sensation for this spiral work that runs through the body. And again, you can kind of exaggerate it, going from one side, releasing one side, this way, or it can go the other way, this way, this way. And start to play with both of them.
Ja, Nina? Kom maar.
So really get a feel for it.
Nee, kom maar even hier. Zeg maar even, doe mijn deur open, maakt niet uit.
That's it. Good. Yeah, that's it. That's it. There we go. Great. Ah, good. Right. Okay, and then do the same. In this case, you're going to cut. Well, I suggest if you've tried this at home, the best thing to use it, something like this, like a suburi bokken. This is a really fat, heavy thing. Or the other best thing is a sledgehammer, something where the weight's actually in the front of the body. So you can try this later, but really have the sense from the body's going to raise the cut. the body's going to raise, and then the body's going to support it to cut it down. And then what I want you to do is play with cutting down, cutting down, cutting down. So I need to keep all these lines really active. This way through the body, this way through the body. And the heavier the object, the more I've got to really stabilize these lines. If I go to, let's say with this, if I go to the arms, do the movement, it just pulls me out this way. So it just pulls me up out of the ground. So really have a sense of a track that runs through the body, all the way through the body, all the way back down. All the way through, all the way back down. Just have the feeling of one line passes all the way through and then crosses down. Rolls up, crosses down. Rolls up, crosses down. It's really a sense of fluidity in the connection. So you can play with something heavier, but just use the Bokken you've got, but just have the sense of this kind of line through the body. So now with the cut and really feel the stability at the end of it. So cutting down into the ground. That. That. That's it. That's it. Good. Great. Good. The lines we've not really talked about the arm, so we go a little bit to the arm work. Now, because humans developed standing on 2 feet, the arms became much more complicated. So they're not really to do with stability; they're to do with manipulation. So the arms have a much more complicated. They're more complicated than the legs. The legs are quite kind of easy. In the sense, they're just really for stability, taking weight, but the hands are for doing lots of different things. That's why the shoulder joint is really much more complicated than the hip joint, and the elbow and the hand. Your hand's much finer, much more complicated than the feet, in one sense. So in this case, just play with the arms. You also got these the lines that run through the arms run here and go all the way across into the shoulder blades. You've got ones that run down the front line of the body, ones that run down the back of the body and into the shoulder blades. And also you've got lines that crisscross through them. So in this case, just play with the arms a little bit. You're going to just roll through them. So just play with the sword. You can play one arm this way and just really have a sense of keep the body stable and just rolling through. Don't think about cutting, just think about rolling through the arm. You can do lots of different movements. Just really think about how the arm operates. These lines run all the way through the body. That's it. Start with one arm. Rolling, raising, any kind of movement you can think of. Rolling this way. Really get a feel for the flexibility in the joint. That's it. That's it. Yeah, good. Just changing arms when you feel. And really play with, there's 2 kind of ideas. You can play with really full extension, where the arm moving in extension. And the other one is really where the arm's moving in flexion, so total flexion. So in this case, we don't really ever do these kind of movements, but just with total flexion, have the sense of the arm, really sense of curling up. So in the case of flexion, what you're going to do is start from the hand, flex into the hand, into the wrist, and into the forearm, into the elbow, and then really flexing the shoulder joint, and then flex everything up around. So the arm fully flexing this way. So just play a little bit with this, from the wrist, the forearm, shoulder. You have a lot of mobility in the arm, just in the arm itself. This way. That's it. The joint super flexible. That's good. Great. So play with flexion, extension. Good. That's it. That's it. Yeah, good. Okay, and then working with the arm now. This is kind of what you're doing is kind of exploring possibility or exploring the joint itself. Now, some of these structures are good in terms of functionality, and some of them are bad. So in these kind of cases, these kind of lines are not really not so functional. They basically split the line of the arm away from the body. So what I want you to do now is try and connect the arm work into the rest of the lines of the body. So especially the lateral line, this line that runs up the rib cage, this connects directly into the arm line. So really now have a sense from the arm work, working with a good structure. So still with flexibility, don't solidify it, don't make it rigid, but just have the feeling now of the arm lines connecting into the body, especially the shoulder, because the shoulder is the connection is the connection point of the lines. The shoulder joint is the thing that if I break the shoulder line, then the arm becomes kind of a useless thing. So really have the sense the shoulder's going to really sit into the line of the body and extend out from it. The same in the kind of koki work that we do. Just have the sense in the shoulder joint. It's really going to. And again, if you want more feedback on this, use a heavier thing. The moment I'm out of the shoulder, it's just going to split. So really have the sense of shoulder. Play with different kind of movement. Again, don't worry so much about a cut, but just think about moving an object around with a good structure. The slower, the better. That's it. Good. Okay, good. Good. Ah, nice. Good. 2 swords. Great. Good. Great. Actually, what you can do with 2, if you've got 2. Oh, that's it. Also, if you've got 2, you can use. Oh, hello. But if you've got 2, you can also do them in both hands. You can also play with these lines in 2. So if you've got 2 swords, you can also play with them independently. This is kind of outside of the realm of aiki ken, but just play with both lines. So both together. Both together.
You spot it on you, Michael.
Sorry?
What you're doing.
What am I doing?
Good question.
Spotlight. You're not on Spotlight,
Basically,
Michael.
we
Oh,
can't
no,
see
sorry.
you.
Oh,
We
sorry
can't
about
see you. That's
Okay, good. So if you've got 2, just play with 2. If you've got 2, play them with them in independently also. So obviously the arms, we usually use the arms together. In this case, you can use them together, they're moving together, but you can actually use the arms totally independently this way. So just play a little bit with them and don't worry so much about functionality or what you're doing. Just think about the connection through it. This way. This way. This is Miyamoto Musashi style. Swords. So just rolling. Good. So one of not the challenges like how to get away from form sometimes. So if you've got a sword in your arm, you tend to automatically go into cutting movements, these kind of movements, and sometimes you want to get away from them. I suggest use different kind of objects. You can use these kind of heavy balls, things like this, and just do the same kind of thing. And then the mind's less distracted by kind of functionality. Activity. It's more activity. I get kind of distracted by activity. So in this case, just think about actually just functionally moving. Really just doing the same thing. So you can play with any kind of object. The hands are really ideal for grasping. Great. Yeah, grasping and moving. The hands are really useful for manipulation. Just play with it. Okay. Routine going on. You've all got totally different objects, great. Super. Great. Marcel's got a coronavirus. Oh no, it's a unicorn. That's a good one. Yeah, good. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I've got only 2 cards, so I can't really use them.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, perfect. Like a Viking. Right. Good. Yeah, great. Yeah, and also yeah, great. This is also a good one. Using 2 different objects. Yeah, super. Great. Okay, good. And this is kind of where you come. You can go back to the sword or keep your object. It's actually where you come into the. It's kind of called like the functional lines of the body. So these are the lines that are used for mostly in the core, but these lines really wrap into the body and they're really like internal in the body. So this is the connection lines that are actually wrapped all the way through the body and into the internal through the internal organ. So if you can think about connective lines in 2 ways: the actual lines that run through the body, this way or this way through the front, and then the other way is you actually find the connective tissue is actually running all the way through the body. So internal, external. In this case, we're really going now into functional lines. So this is bringing them together. Go back to the sword and just one hand, one sword, and just go now to functional movement with the sword. So really using the function of the sword. You know these movements, cutting. Just really have a sense now of the function of the sword and bring all these elements of connection, lines of connection running through the body. And just start to really now working with a good structure, really looking now at function.
Michael?
Yeah. I've lost everyone. Let's see.
Is he still frozen? Oh, he's gone.
God. Oh, he's back. Okay. You all disappeared. Okay, did you get the last thing? Yeah.
Yeah.
Looks like off. Just really look, at function, using the body, just look at stabilizing. So actually start now, make this kind of clear also for feedback on the lines. Just do kind of one thing. So just kind of one, and then really just feel where the lines in the body are, feel where the connections are, and then move into something else. Just feel where the connections are. Don't think so much about what you're going to do, just go into kind of movement and move into something. And just give yourself a few seconds. Just feel the weight of the movement, the weight of the sword, and the lines that run through the body. And just every time try and stabilize them a bit more. Release more tension through the body. Yeah, just really play with it, nice and calmly. That's it, yeah.
Michael, I don't feel
Yeah.
like I'm holding a sword at all.
Ah, that's good.
It's quite It just feels like the sword is really a part of me.
Excellent. Good. But does anyone know this? Oh, there was a film in the 90s. Terminator. Have you seen Terminator 2? Has everyone seen Terminator 2? Maybe not. There's this guy. There's the main Terminator in the film. He's got this ability to make his arms into blades. So he makes his arms into kind of metallic blades. So in this sense, what you're looking to do in this case is like really bring the sword into the body. Or you can think about Wolverine with these claws that come out of the arm. And then in a sense, the body's gonna really, the sword's really gonna feel like it extends in. What I want is for like my bones, my connection, my muscles, tendons, my skin to kind of feel like it extends all the way into the sword. So really this kind of...
That's exactly how I feel. Like it's just coming out of me rather than it being a separate thing.
Great.
Really weird feeling, but it's really nice.
What you want. That's what you want. Okay, we'll finish with one kind of formal practice, or form practice. This is really based on, if you think of the Josaburi, the last two, 19 and 20, are these kind of Nagare Gaishi movements. So we're going to do this movement with the sword. Just show you. You start like the second Saburi. So rolling back. You're going to make a yokomen with a step on this side. And now what you're going to do is rotate the whole body around the back and then cut in on the right side again. Okay, so you start with a second Saburi. In the body, rotate all the way to the back with a block, and then cutting down with the sword this way. So cutting back, yokomen, rolling all the way to the back, and cutting down here. It is quite fluid. Cutting, rolling, cutting again. Just really feel the body at the end. You've got the movement. So this is like number 19 with the job. Huh. Oh. That's it. Huh. Okay, and start to see if you can bring this together now. So making this kind of two moves from this position, cutting down, you're going to roll to the back, cutting down. The movement you do now in the rotation is this. So in this case, when we look to the spiral line that runs through the body, this is clear. Here, so you cut in, you adjust all the way. Now, be careful, in this case, if the arms are rigid, this happens, spins out the body. So in a sense, I want to raise from the core, and then cut in. Raise from the core, cutting in. You can do this, actually, just this last move. Rotate into the back, slicing down. Rotate into the back, slicing down. Rotate to the back, slicing down. All the time, keeping the sword connected to the center. Good. Just make this rotation cutting move. That's it. That's it. That's it. Okay, very last thing. Sometimes I do this practice in the dojo with various exercises with a partner behind. What I do is get someone to walk, and then I get the person at the back to come with the sword with the intention to either thrust or cut the person. Now, in this case, what you're going to do is just walk, and then the feeling someone behind, I want you to make this rotation and then cut to the head this way. So sometimes we do this kind of practice. Just kind of walking forward. You're going to really sense something happen. Roll to the back and then cutting off this way. Yeah, so just give this a try. So just have the sensation someone's just behind you and then they get just into your zone. And what you want to do is make the rotation, make the cut. That's it. Good. That's it. Super. Right. Okay, super. Very good. That will be. Hey. Domo, arigato gozaimasu. Right.
Never a strike was as light as today.
Ah, great.
Getting more and more into the center.
Yeah, exactly.